Namaste. Namaste to all of you. I hope you had a wonderful Shivaratri and you received the blessings of Shiva in abundant measure. And some of you might have participated in the celebration we had in 3 centers. So today we are going to delve into the BRIHADARANYAKA Upanishad. This is the last Upanishad among the 10 Upanishads, for which Shankaracharya has extensively commented. That's how through those commentaries we get an entry into the Upanishad. Otherwise, Upanishads are very tough to understand. But Shankaracharya is our bridge. He opened our way to his dense forest of the Upanishad. BRIHADARANYAKA. Big forest. Brihad means big, Aranyaka means forest. There is another word used, Naimishika. Naimishika means momentariness. The forest of momentariness. The forest of constant change. There is another word used in the Hindu scriptures, Naimishika. And we have combined about this, and this is Sambodh, forest of enlightenment. Because when you realize the world is a constant change and flux, then you get an insight into the truth. So that the very same forest become forest of enlightenment. Earlier it was a forest of trap. You get lost in this forest. Now you start enjoying the forest. Because in this forest, this is a forest of Brahman. Brahman wear the mask of Maya and Avidya and become a Jiva and wander in this forest and enjoy the forest. Brahman become a Jiva, you and I. And he goes up, comes down, and various states of consciousness, dreaming and waking and sleeping, and after death he goes heaven and Pitraloka, and thereafter come back, become a mosquito and a reptile and a crocodile. And he rides on the waves of the sun and the moon and the stars. Very exciting. Indraha Mayabhihi Pururupamiyade. Indra wearing the mask of Maya and ignorance, avidya, wander in this forest and enjoy the whole. So he pretends that he is unhappy, like you and I. But actually, it is all an enjoyable experience. At the end of the day, when we look back, it was all enjoyable and a learning experience. So Indraha Mayabhihi Pururupamiyade comes in this Upanishad. So this Upanishad has got 6 chapters. It belongs to the Shukla Yajurveda. Now we have seen 2 branches of Yajurveda, the Shukla and the Krishna Yajurveda. This Upanishad belongs to the Shukla Yajurveda. And the main protagonist in this Upanishad, the main character in this Upanishad, the main Rishi in the Upanishad is called Yajnavalkya. It is said he learned directly from the sun. He sat behind the sun as the sun is constantly moving. He has to go round and round and round and round in his chariot. So he jumped onto the chariot, sat with the sun. These are all stories, very interesting stories. And the sun, while he is driving all the way, he taught this Upanishad. That's a big message there. We are all the time on the move. And while we are on the move, hands-on, we have to learn. On the fly, as they say. You cannot sit in a corner and then have a comfortable air conditioner and cups of coffee and put your leg up upon the table and then learn. On the move, while we are struggling in this world, we have to understand all these things. That is why this metaphor that Indra, the Yajnavalkya, sits with Surya, the sun, who is driving all the time, and he learned all this. So Yajnavalkya, the main character. So this Upanishads is divided into 3 sections, 6 chapters, 3 sections. The first 2 chapters are called Madhukanda. Madhukanda, the nectarine chapter. Madhu means nectar. It is called Madhukanda because at the end of the 2nd chapter, they talk about the Madhu. Atman is the Madhu. Madhu means the nectar. Atman means your essential self is the nectar. The rest are all martym. He said, the rest are all changing and useless. Your essential self is the Madhu, the nectar, the rasa. The rest are all, incidental and accidental and, extra. What is essential? So the 2nd chapter of this Upanishad ends with this declaration that Atman is the Madhu. That's what it's called a Madhukanda. And the 3rd and the 4th chapter is the core of this Upanishad. The core of this Upanishad. And these 2 chapters, a little bit of 2nd chapter, 3rd chapter, and the 4th chapter, the 3rd and the 4th. Then when you read the text, I am introducing the text to you. When you read the text, the little bit of the 2nd chapter, 3rd and the 4th chapter is the core of this Upanishad. In this Upanishad, Yajnavalkya is the dominant figure, the great teacher. And he engages in 3 conversations. So, Upanishads are basically a conversation, isn't it? Through conversation, we change our thinking and mindset. Through discussion, conversation, that's how we change ourselves. If you simply sit under a tree, you will emerge as stupid as you were before. You have to engage in conversation with the wise people. That's how you evolve. So, Yajnavalkya engages in 3 conversations. One with his own wife, Maitreyi. Yajnavalkya had 2 wives. So, one wife was Tri Sahaja. She is interested in cooking and then family affairs. Other wife was a little more philosophical. So, Yajnavalkya's, I'm not criticizing cooking and family. Please don't get me wrong, because these are all very important. Without cooking, you cannot survive. So I have great respect for those people. We all survive because somebody is cooking. If nobody is cooking, we cannot survive. So Yajnavalkya had these 2 wives, Maitreyi and Katyayani. So he engages in, one day he suddenly declared, I am leaving. I'm just leaving this world. I'm going to the forest. So Maitreyi wondered, what's the matter? Did I do anything wrong? And all that, that's kind of discussions. I'll come back, because that is the essential part of this Upanishad. I'll come back to that. So Yajnavalkya discussion with his own wife about profound things. And second conversation is Yajnavalkya with the 7 great scholars from Kuru Panchala Desha. Yajnavalkya was a resident of the eastern part of India. Let's say modern Bihar or eastern Uttar Pradesh. He was a court philosopher, the philosopher of the court of Janaka. Janaka is Sita's father, Ramayana. Janaka himself was a great rishi and a great king also. The Indian ideal of the rishi and the king combined together, what is called Rajarshi. Janaka was a Rajarshi. So Janaka used to invite. So Yajnavalkya was his part of the Janaka's entourage, or his court, let us say. So they used to engage in discussions most of the time. Because when we are wary of, the affairs of the state, he will take time off and sit with the Yajnavalkya and discuss fundamental issues so that we can revisit our own philosophy. So Yajnavalkya engages in discussion with Janaka, the king. He engages in discussion with his wife, Maitreyi. And he also engages in discussion with his 7 great scholars. So these are the 3 main conversations or discussions or debate. Because with the Brahmins, he engages in a debate. With the Yajnavalkya, engages in a discussion. And with Janaka, Yajnavalkya engages in a discussion. And with his wife, he engages in a conversation. So that's the essential part of this Upanishad. I'll be coming back. At least his conversation with his wife, which is very, very important, which is the heart of this Upanishad. And in this Upanishad, we find it begins with a meditation upon the sacrificial horse. Those days, the horse sacrifice, Ashwamedha Yaga, was very, very important. That's the final act you do as a ritual. Have a beautiful horse, white stallion, and send the stallion all around. When it comes back, you sacrifice. You kill the horse, take the wafa, the heart of the horse, and then put it in the fire and smell it. That was the Ashwamedha. Very cruel, isn't it? Some of you are shocked. This happened. But then, when you come to the BRIHADARANYAKA Upanishad, instead of killing the horse, you give up the desire to kill the horse and you worship the horse. You elevate the horse, the status of a god. Like a Sakuna Brahman. That's what we find. So you give up the desire to kill the horse and you admire the horse. That becomes a meditation. And those who are lovers of horse, they know you can spend hours and hours watching the horse, grooming the horse, watching the horse, and then massaging the gum of the horse and the manes of the horse. All these are very, very beautiful animal, much more beautiful than you and I. So you can keep on admiring the horse. So instead of killing, you give the desire to kill and you admire the horse. Ushava medyasya ashwasya sharaha. So you see the head of the horse is seen as the dawn, the morning, when the sun comes up. And you see the head of the horse as the dawn. And then you universalize this horse. Horse has elevated the status of a god instead of killing. That's a big message for us. Instead of killing things, if you start loving, then your life becomes much more beautiful. So that's how the Upanishad begins. And the Upanishad has this great mantra, begins with this again, the great mantra, which we all know. Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyade, Purnasya, Purnamadaya, Purnameva Vasishyade. We all are Purnam, complete. Even a grain of sand is complete in itself. It is so beautiful in itself. At the same time, the grain of sand is part of another completeness, another Purna. That Purna is part of another Purna, isn't it? The moon itself is complete. It is part of the earth. Earth itself is complete. It is part of the solar system, the sun. And the solar system itself is complete. It is part of something else. And in a minute level, even an atom is complete. Proton, electron, neutron, proton and neutron and electron going around it. That is the fundamental architecture of the universe. So everything is complete in itself. But at the same time, it is part of another completeness. We have discussed this idea, the holonistic idea. Holon. Holon means everything is complete and part of another completeness. So that is the meaning of Purnamada, Purnamidam. And this Upanishad also gives a great prayer, a universal prayer, which we all know. What are the prayer? Asadoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amgamgamya. Upanishads begins with this universal prayer. Lead me from darkness to light. Lead me from death to immortality. Lead me from untruth to truth. This mantra is given in this Upanishad. This Upanishad also gives the method of self-enquiry. What is the methodology? What is the method of self-enquiry? The method given is nedi nedi. Not this, not this, not this. Meaning what? What do you mean by not this? I see the world around me. And you look at the world, you observe the world. Without any judgment, you observe the world. And when you observe the world without judgment, you are able to transcend the world and go deep into your own self. So you observe the world without much judgment. Then you observe your own sense organs, observe your mind, observe your ego, observe your knowledge, observe your ignorance. This way, by observation, you are deepening your awareness. That's the meaning of naidi, not this, not this, not this. These are all objectifiable phenomena. I am something deeper than this. And who are you? You become silent. No words, no ideas, no concept. The rest of all, I am observing. And what's my real nature? To that question, Yajnavalkya says, you cannot answer that question. You can only become silent. It is something like when you are in deep sleep, somebody asks you, are you sleeping? And you say, yes, I am sleeping, meaning that you are not sleeping. So realized a person who reached that state, he will remain only silent. Even if somebody calls you, you are a donkey, you only flash a smile and make him feel a donkey. If somebody says you are so smart and intelligent, it is not going to get into your head. You keep your calm and cool. So this method, nedi method, is a unique contribution of this Upanishad. So nedi idi adeshaha. And here also in this Upanishad we find the Mahavakya, one of the Mahavakya. So we have studied 4 Mahavakya, 3 Mahavakya. Prajnanam Brahma, Ayamatma Brahma, Tatumasi. Mahavakya means the great proclamation which can transform you completely. So the last Mahavakya comes into the Upanishad. What is the Mahavakya? Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. I am okay in your language. Aham Brahmasmi means I am okay. I am okay as I am. If I am not okay, then nothing is okay. I will not let anybody to be okay. Isn't it? If I am not okay, I will not let anybody to be okay. So when I am okay is the beginning of your journey. So the Aham Brahmasmi Mahavakya is given in this Upanishad. So these are some of the very essential aspects of this Upanishad, one of the highlights of this Upanishad. And also, let me give you some nuggets before I get into the conversation between Yajnavalkya and Maitreyi. Some of the nuggets. One nugget is, Janaka asked Yajnavalkya, what is the light in which you see things, which you experience things? Because you need some light to experience things. What is that light? Think very carefully. The first answer was, the light is the light of the sun, sunlight. Without sunlight, you cannot see or experience anything, isn't it? Then Janaka asked, what about night? How do I see things in night? Oh, at night you can see because of the moonlight. In moonlight you see. Okay, what about the darker day of the moon, the new moon day, when there is no moon? How will you see? Oh, you can have a flashlight. Agony, he says. You see in the fire, Agony. But agony, fire is possible when there is fuel. When the fuel is exhausted, how will you see? He says, walk, your speech. You have to say, where are you? It's all dark. Somebody asks you, where are you? I am here. Speech. Speech is a great revelator. It's a big light. If you cannot speak, you have no recognition. So darkness, how do I see you? I ask, where are you? Then you say, I'm here. I understand. So speech. But the problem is, when you go to deep sleep, what is the light? Now Yajnavalkya says, because there you don't speak. Now Yajnavalkya says, in deep sleep, light of the Atman, the self. The self is still shining, making you happy. At that time you are happy. Though you don't see anything, you don't talk anything, because there is nothing for you to see or talk. But still the light is there. Still the light is there. The theater is empty. No dance, no spectators, nothing. Everybody has left. But the light is there. So that is the ultimate light. Shining after which everything shines. That beautiful description of the ultimate light is given in the 4th chapter of this Upanishad. Prabhupada Shankaracharya paraphrased it into one's beautiful slogan. But that's an adaptation of this description. So Yajnavalkya answers the question of Janaka, what is the real light? The real light is Atma Jyoti. And this Upanishad also gives you the story, that famous story which was quoted by T.S. Eliot in his Wasteland, for which he got the Nobel Prize. He ends his 400-line verses. This Wasteland has 400 lines. He ends his Wasteland, for which he got a Nobel Prize, by taking this story and the last word of this story. What is the story? The story is Prajapati has got 3 children. Manava, Dhanava and Deva. Devas, human beings, gods, human beings, and Dhanavas. Dhanavas mean not that good people, little violent and all that. All are Prajapati's children. Look at the inclusiveness of the Upanishad tradition. All are my children also. Some are good, some are not that good, some are very bad. But my children, what can I do? They're mine. So all these 3 children go to Prajapati and teach us. Give us some instruction. So Prajapati says, okay, he was very busy. He was very busy. And busy parents create neurotic children, isn't it? If they are very busy, children become neurotic. So Prajapati was busy. So he said, 3 das. Da. And he left. Now these poor children had to sit and meditate. What did Prajapati mean? What did Prajapati mean? So you respond to a teaching according to your need. When somebody says something, you pick up whatever you need. I say a lot of things, but what strikes you is depending upon from where you are coming. So he said, 3 das. So the gods thought da means dhamma, dhamadhum. Because the problem with the gods are they are very intelligent people. They don't have to work. Everything is there plenty. So they indulge, overindulge. As a result of that, they become sick. Diabetes, all kind of lifestyle issues, isn't it? Devas. So Devas thought what Prajapati means is Dhamma, discipline, reduce your needs, reduce your sugar, reduce your salt, reduce your coffee, reduce your Coca-Cola. Because this is what devas enjoy. Reduce. Sleep on the hard surface. Because you have got a backache. Devas have got a backache. Devas have got diabetic. Devas are high blood pressure. Devas are all overindulged. So what is the message? Dhamma, reduce your needs. Less salt, less sugar, less Coca-Cola, sleeping on the bare floor sometime, hard surface, speak less. All those disciplines. Dhamma. The human beings, what are they from? What does Dhamma mean to them? Dhamma means human being. Our problem is greed. We are never happy with what we have. We are always looking on the other side of the grass. We are always looking onto the neighbor. Oh, he is very rich. He has got a car. He has got 3 cars. I have only 1 car. Greed. He has got 4 pairs of shoes. I have got only 1 pair. You don't look down. You always look up. That way. So, human problem is insatiable greed, which is our central issue. We are never happy with what we have. Nor are we happy with even if we get something else, you are again unhappy. So for human beings, share, dhanam, share your resource, share your resource, which is very, very important. Give something to the other. Share. Dhanam. And for asura, the demons, their problem is cruelty. They enjoy wanton cruelty. You throw stones at the animals and kill the animals and violence. Mindless violence. And there is a vicarious satisfaction in that. When you see somebody suffering, you have got a vicarious satisfaction. Your heart don't feel the pain of the other. Not only that, you want the other to suffer. And you will add more fuel into that. And pretend that you are innocent. You are a very ethical person. Isn't it? So the problem with the demons are, they are cruel. Mindless cruelty. So what does that do is for them? Daya, compassion. So dhanam, dhamma, daya. These 3 values are very, very important. Because the modern human being is a combination of all the 3. There is a God in him, there is a devil in him, there is a human in him. So we need to practice these 3 values. And T.S. Eliot, April is cruel, he starts his poem like that. It is all barren, nothing, no shoot come up on this terrain. So we need the rain, the life-giving rain, T.S. Eliot says. And what is the rain? These 3, dhamma, dhanam, daya. That story comes in this Upanishad. Again, Yajnavalkya discussion with the Kuru Panjala Brahmins. That 7 Brahmins interrogating. Some of the questions are usual questions we have already discussed. But there is one interesting question that these Kuru Brahmins asking. That question is, how many gods are there? To Yajnavalkya. How many gods are there? So Yajnavalkya said, let me think about it, let me scratch my head a little bit. This is a very important and difficult question, how many gods are there? He said, I think there are 3003 gods. 3003 gods. Sometimes we say 3 million gods, isn't it? So he said 3003 gods. So the Panchala Kuru Brahmin asked, are you sure? He says, let me think about that. I think there are 303 gods. Again, are you sure? Maybe 33 gods. Because these ideas will appeal to different people. Are you sure about that? I think there are only 6 gods. Again he asked, are you sure? He said, only 3 gods. Are you sure? He said, only 2 gods. Are you really sure about that? He said, 1.5 gods. Please tell me the truth between us. Tell me the truth. He said, there is only one God. The interesting thing is, who are these gods? According to Yajnavalkya, who are these gods? So he says, let me deal with that 33 gods. 33 gods. What are the 33? Ashtavasus. You can just write down and then do research on this. Ashtavasus, 8 Vasus, 11 Rudras, 12 Adityas. How many are there now? 8, 11, 12, 33, 31. Isn't it? 31. Ashtavasu, 11 Rudras, 12 Adityas. And what are the other two? Indra and Prajapati. These are the 33 gods. But the interesting thing is that what exactly do they represent? Now, 8 Ashtavasus, 8 Vasus, 11 Rudras, and 12 Adityas, you have to do research. I am not going to tell you that. You have to do research. At least I give you some. 11 Rudras are 5 sense organs, 5 organs of action, and prana. He is making it very subtle. 12 Adityas are the 12 months. They are gods. 12 months. And Indra is very interesting. Indra says the cloud and the rain and the thunder. That is Indra. That is Indra. So it became a metaphor. Indra became a metaphor for these natural forces. Indra is cloud, thunder, and the rain. And what about Prajapati? Prajapati says yajna. Yajna means cows. Prajapati is cows, according to Yajnavalkya. So that's a very interesting concept. That's a very interesting concept. Because cows are necessary for rituals. Rituals are necessary for sustaining gods. Gods are necessary for protecting the world and human being. It's a big cycle going on, interactive cycle. So that question is answered by Yajnavalkya very, very beautifully. And now let us come back. So the first 2 chapters also deal with the creation theory. I'm giving you the nuggets from here and there. So when you read the Upanishads, you will be able to connect all this. The first 2 chapters give the creation theory also. And the other 2 chapters, the following 2 chapters, the conversation between Yajnavalkya and his interlocutors. And the 3rd chapter is called Khilakanda, miscellaneous items. In Khilakanda, you find a lot of repetitions. What other Upanishads? Either this Upanishad borrowed from them or those Upanishads borrowed from this Upanishad, we don't know. This Upanishad being the oldest, must be other Upanishads borrowed from this Upanishad. What are the repetitions? That one is Ananda Mimamsa. Where did you see Ananda Mimamsa? In the Taittiriya Upanishad, an analysis of happiness. Various degrees of happiness. So, the ultimate happiness is a person who doesn't desire happiness. Have you seen that? When you don't desire happiness, you experience your natural happiness. Shrotriyasya akama hadasya. Shrotriya means one was realized who he or she is. Akama hada means who doesn't desire happiness. What is his happiness? His happiness is 1 to the power of 20 zeros. You can write it down. 1 to the power of 20 zeros. So what is the value of that 1? The value of the 1 is the happiness of a healthy, young, well-trained person who has got all the enjoyable objects in the world under his control. That is the value of that 1. And what is the value of the person who doesn't desire happiness? Who is self-contained, self-established, sustaha. What is his happiness? 1 to the power of 20 zeros. That is said in the Taittiriya Upanishad is again repeated here. Similarly, we have seen some slokas in the first Upanishad, the Ishavasyam, the various prayers. Pushanna Bhavranu Satyakamaya Dushe, Vairanilamamrudamathetam Basmantam Shariram, Agnena Yasubhadarai Yasman. All these slokas are repeated in this Upanishad also. So you will find that. So that is very consoling. The forest is not that formidable now. I am cutting some passage, some trail into the forest so that you can feel comfortable there. Now, also, there is this dispute among the sense organs and the prana. You have seen that story. The sense organ says, I says I am more important, ear says I am more important, mind says I am more important. And the prana is sitting quiet. Prana says, what is going on here? They all are claiming important. What about me? It's like a housewife. Father says I am more important. Some children say I am more important. The dog says I am more important. And the mother is not heard. Her voice is not heard. The mother says, okay, I am leaving. Then you know, isn't it? Similarly, prana says I am leaving. When prana says I am leaving, your eyes bulge out. You cannot hear anything, see anything. So finally they say, prana, you are the most important. So that story is repeated here. And again, the Shadaketu, the conversation between Shadaketu in the previous Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, we have seen Shadaketu asked what are the five yajnas. We have seen that. What is happening up in the heaven, then the rain, then the earth, then plants, then seed, sperm, and then garbha and all that. That also is repeated here. And then this the Chandogya Upanishad also talks about Mahatvakamsha, those who want to become famous. There is a yajna prescribed there. I am not going to the details of that. Yajna, that is there in Chandogya, here also that is repeated. So you find Taittiriya, a mantra for Medha, Buddhi, developing their intellect, and a yajna mantra for Homa, for Shri, prosperity, and this Upanishad gives a yajna or a Homa for Mahatva, becoming famous. You know, these are the three needs we have. A good mind, healthy mind, wealth, and fame, and health. All these be people, ordinary people desire. So the Upanishad addresses that issue also. So finally, another very interesting thing is that if you want a good son, can I perform a ritual? This Upanishad gives that. A fair complexion son. For that he says you have to cook rice in milk and mix it with the ghee and give to this woman, your wife. She will deliver a fair complexioned son. It is a little racial, but it is said in the Upanishad there. If you need a wheat complexion son with a wheat complexion, then you have to cook rice in curd and mix it with that clarified butter and feed the. If you need a dark complexion son, Shyama. Because in India, Shyama, dark complexion is worshipped. Krishna is Shyama, Shiva is Shyama. If you want a dark complexion son, and you have to cook rice in water and then mix it with the ghee. And if you want a daughter, you have to cook rice with the sesame seed and mix it with the clarified butter and food. These are little bit tidbits I am giving you. The Upanishad. You can try and experiment and don't blame me if you are not successful. Blame the Upanishad Rishis. But it is worth experimenting. It is worth experimenting. And if you want a very intelligent and smart son, between you and I, the Upanishad says, you have to make a biryani with cooked meat. Rice cooked with the meat and mixed with the clarified butter, feed the woman. Then you get a strong, healthy or son. So these are some of the tidbits I am giving. But what is more, all these interesting things are there in the Upanishad. So, and it's worth experimenting. Instead of sitting and worrying, oh, I have no children, all that, you do something. You do something positive. At least you can entertain yourself as a result. At least you move a little forward. So this experimentation is very, very important. So the fifth and the sixth chapter are all repetition from various other Upanishads. The core of the Upanishad is actually the conversation between Yajnavalkya and his wife, Maitreyi. That's what I'm going to deal with here. And one more thing I would like to discuss, time permitting, that the Upanishad discusses, this particular Upanishad discusses certain conflict that we go through daily life. And the paradoxes, conflicts, and dilemmas. This Upanishads discuss that. The first conflict is I and the other. When Brahman looked all around, since when Brahman woke up and looked all around, became self-conscious, he found he is alone. He or she alone. I am alone. And I am afraid. So fear comes. Fear comes. And then he thought, if I am alone, whom am I afraid of? There is nobody to be afraid of. Isn't it? Look at the conflict there. If I am alone, I am afraid because I am alone. Loneliness. But then, why should I be afraid? Because there is nobody to be afraid of. This is our problem. When we are alone, we need someone. When someone comes, we want to get rid of him or that person. Isn't it? Is it not the dilemma we all are going through? How do we resolve that? There is no resolution for that. We have to go through this. We have to negotiate through that. You have to experience that. This is the drama of life. When I am alone, I need somebody. When somebody is there with me, I don't want that person. Leave me alone. Give me some time. Isn't it? So that is one conflict we human beings go through. Another conflict that we human beings go through is I don't enjoy life. There's nothing in life. There's no enjoyment. Because I am alone. That's why you marry, you have children. If you marry, again you feel alone because we have no children. When children come, then you feel it's all noise in the house. Isn't it? So, na ramade. If I am alone, there is no enjoyment, there is no fun. So the Upanishad says, therefore the Adi Purusha, the first man, he created a woman. That is a man-woman dynamics. Man-woman dynamics. Now the whole problem starts, isn't it? The whole problem starts because a love-hate relationship starts. Sometimes you love each other, sometimes you hate each other, sometimes you fight. There's another problem we are going. Then why did you marry? No, I thought without marriage, what will I do? Then after marriage, the problem comes. This is another conflict we all are going through. The Upanishad discusses that. Then parent-child relationship. See, the Upanishad says, Edad Atma Putrad Prayaha. Everybody deeply loves themselves. That is the fact. It may not be an narcissistic life. We all love our own self. We love ourselves, which Atman elaborates later. But at the same time, we love our children also. Our wealth, our cows, our animals, our property. So there is an inherent contradiction between self-love, meaning I love myself, and also love of things what I possess. Ahankaram and mamakara. There's conflict between them. I love what I have, at the same time I love myself, and there is a conflict between them. And we are going through this conflict all the time. You love your children, but children does whatever they want, then you feel you are betrayed. Isn't it? You are betrayed. Your love is very possessive and smothering love. So that's another conflict. We are going through parent-children conflict. Wife, husband conflict. I and the other conflict. And finally, Brahmin and Kshatriya conflict. Knowledge and power. Conflict between knowledge and power. Sometimes it's a knowledge is power. Sometimes it's a power is knowledge. And in this context, the Upanishad says, when Brahman, when he felt alone, he created the Brahmins first. Because there is no prosperity, there is no fun. So he created Brahmin. The Brahmin with the mere knowledge, what will they do? So they created Kshatriyas to protect them. So what will Kshatriyas and Brahmin do? There is no wealth. So Vaishyas are created. All of them are there, but who will sustain them? Shudra is there. Now there is fight between. Shudras are struggling or fighting for their wages, and Brahmin is fighting for their dominance, their knowledge, narrative control. And this fight. Then Dharma was introduced to the system. And what is Dharma? Satyam, honesty, trust. These days we talk about the high trust society. So Upanishad talks about that. Trust is very, very important. Dharma, some values are very, very important to organize these various interests and stakeholders. So all these are said in this Upanishad. So the Upanishad says, Anyaha so anyaha aham na saveda. If you create this division, I and thou division, and the conflict, actually all these are part of the same process and phenomena. Now let us come back to the Maitreyi Yajnavalkya discussion. That is I told you, that's the core of this Upanishad. So Yajnavalkya is a famous householder, wealthy, intelligent, scholarly, and he amassed a lot of wealth and he has 2 wives. One day, maybe at the age of 60, Yajnavalkya said, I am done with all this. My money, my power, my houses, my children, my wife, I am done with all this. He called Maitreyi and he said, one thing I understand. Yo va etad aksharam abhiditva asman logat predi saha. If I leave this world without knowing my essential nature, aksharam, Atma, and if I only superficially wander on the field of the senses and the mind and the body and my intellect and my ego, without knowing my center, my Atma, yo va etad aksharam abhiditva, not knowing the self. If you leave this world, saha akrapanaha, he is the wretched person. And time is running fast. Now I have to dedicate my time to knowing myself. Not get caught up in wife and children or husband and all that. It's time for me to know who I am. On the contrary, he says, Yova edad aksharam viditva asmat logat predi. Those who realize himself or herself and then leave the world, saha brahmana. So two types of people, brahmana and kripana. Brahmana means enlightened, kripana means wretched. So before you breathe your last, it is very important that I know, you know yourself. This Yajnavalkya shares with his wife. And then he says, Udyasan va are aham asma sthana asmi. I am leaving. Which is very difficult for you to say, isn't it? I am leaving. I am moving out into the wider world. From the little cycle, cubicle, I have been living so far. Why? Why do you live like that? Yajnavalkya says, Amrutattvasya nashasti vittena. All this power and position and name and fame and houses, cows and the horses and elephant, gold, silver I have, na amrutattvasya nashasti. I don't think I can be really happy. These are becoming burden for me now. This is becoming load. Earlier I used to acquire, isn't it? By the age of 60, you must have acquired enough things, amassed enough things, cluttered your house completely. So many shoes, so many saris, so many clothes, and so many jewels, so many, all lot of things. In the garage, in your bedroom, everywhere there are things. There is no space to move around. So you want to have a garage sale, isn't it? Give up everything. It become a burden. Earlier, trinkets you were buying here and there, shopping. Now you understand, it has become a burden. There is no more fun in that. I am kicking up everything away and I am walking into the uncertain, uncharted territory to explore and express myself. I am moving away from the comfort zone to more challenges. So, Amrutattvasya nashasti vittena. And then Upanishad, Yajnavalkya says a very interesting secret. Maitreyi, I love you not for your sake. You may think I am in love with you. Actually, I am in love with myself. I love you because you make me comfortable. The moment you stop making me comfortable, I hate you. I file for a divorce, isn't it? So the truth is, between you and me, we all are loving ourselves. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Padihi pattihi kamaya priyam na bhavati. I don't love my husband for his sake. I love my husband for my sake. I don't love my wife for her sake. I love her for my sake. I don't love my children for their sake. I love them for my sake. I love my gold not for gold's sake. I love them for my sake. Think about that. Ultimately, you are loving yourself. But this is not a narcissistic love. Self-obsessed narcissistic love. This is something deeper. Very deep. Even my body, I like for myself. My Atman self. Because when the body starts giving you suffering, a tooth giving you pain, what will you do? You knock out the tooth, isn't it? Or a cancer growth, you remove that. Or a ganglion in the leg, you amputate. Or if your mind is giving you problem, you go to sleep. Or take a sleeping pill. Or your ideology is not suitable to the context, you change your ideology. On your ego, you change. Earlier you were a very arrogant person, now you are very humble. Everything you are ready to change. But there is something deep in you for the sake of which you are doing all these alterations and changes. That's why Yajnavalkya says, Atmanastu kamaya sarvam. You are ready to exchange everything, trade off for everything for this, protecting this self. Nurturing, protecting, owning of that self. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam. This is the truth. So you love someone when you love yourself. If you have no love yourself, it's not the physical love I'm talking. Not even ego love. Something deeper. That is the source of it. When you love that, you can love everybody. You can embrace the whole universe. So that is the secret Yajnavalkya tells. So you can tell your wife, I love you for my own sake. I love myself, therefore I am loving you. You can tell your husband the same thing, your children the same thing. So go to that deep level, drink from that source of wisdom and experience. Then you can love the whole world. Then you can allow others to be themselves, which is very important. Presently, our love is a very dominating, exploitative, controlling love. I love you, therefore you have to do whatever I say. isn't it? If you don't, then get out of my sight. That is not the real. Real love, when you love yourself deeply, you can allow others to be themselves. You have space for everyone. So, therefore, Yajnavalkya says, now our task is to know what is this self. That is the central project of life. What is this self? Atmavare, this famous statement in the Upanishad. Atmavare, drashtavyaha, shrodavyaha, mandavyaha, nididhyasidavyaha. You have to know this Atman. Drashtavyaha, you have to experience it deeply. Shrodavyaha, for that you have to listen to a wise Guru, Upanishad, teachers. Shrodavyaha. Because I don't know where it is. I don't know how deep it is. So you have to change your brain. There should be a new chip in the brain. Brain has to undergo a transformation. For that, words, because brain is made up of words. So you have to use words. There's no other way. There's no other alchemy for changing your mindset. Only by words. Used by an expert teacher. So listen. Shamanam. Atmavare drashtavyaha, shrodavyaha, mandavyaha. And when you listen to this, you suddenly feel the rug is being pulled from under your feet. Earth is shaking. Things are changing. So mandavyaha. Because he experienced a great earthquake. So mandavyaha. Meditate on what is being said. Our first impulse is to argue and retort and all that. But we have to reflect. Atmavare, shodavyaha, mandavyaha, nididhyasidavyaha. And then you have to, every moment of your life, you have to remember this. That's called nididhyasana. Continuously, in every experience, bring this light of wisdom. Somebody shouting at you. Somebody shouting at you. Are you going to be upset by that? Somebody is praising you. Are you going to be elevated by that? Or something happens unexpectedly. So once you find your center, you have this ability, that resilience and flexibility to adapt and flourish in all kind of situations. So, mandavyaha, nididhyasidavyaha. Tamedam vedanuvajnena brahmanaha vividishande yajnena danena tapasa anashakena. For which you need some discipline. Without that discipline, diving deep into your own self is impossible. What is that discipline? Vedanuvajnena. Listen to the Upanishads. Brahmanaha yajnena. Yajna means sharing your resources. Danena. Tapasa. Reducing your needs. One has to prepare oneself for the spirit to awaken. So here Yajnavalkya introduces, we have seen that Yajnavalkya's method is Nedi method. And you say the Atman is not an object to be known. In that state you are silent, you are abiding. There is no questions thereafter. So Yajnavalkya asked a rhetorical question. So Maitreya, how do I know that? How do I know this? Yajnavalkya asked a rhetorical question to Shatkara. Murdhate vibhadishya. If you ask further, your head will fall off, Yajnavalkya says. Be quiet and silent. Reflect on what I am saying. Don't have this game of answer question Q&A. After every presentation, you have a Q&A. That's a game of avoiding the central issue. We are not reflecting. So Yajnavalkya said, if you ask a further question, my answer is, Yena idam sarvam vijanadi tam kena vijaniya. By in which light everything is illumined. What light can illumine that? That by which you know everything. How can you know that? You cannot objectify. So ultimately, it is a state of deep silence. You have gone beyond the question-answer session also. So, he asks this rhetorical question, Yena idam sarvam vijanadi, tam kena vijaniya. By which I know everything. How can I know that? You don't need a flashlight to see the sun. Will you hold a candle against the sun? You can't. You should not. You don't need. So you come to a state of deep silence, of total satisfaction. A state of permanent gratitude. A sense of having arrived. Like the river joining the ocean. It is time for us to understand this. Vijnadaram are kena vijaniya. How can you objectify this? Not possible. So it is a state of deep quietude and contemplative realization. And after having established there, you can play with the whole world. And very interestingly, this Upanishad says, Upanishad gives you a very, very sensuous example for this. What is that state? When you are embracing the Atman, Atman is embracing you. What is that state? When the river has joined the ocean. What is that state? Priyaya striya sambarishattaha. It is like you are lying in deep embrace with your beloved. Priya, beloved, in deep embrace. In that state, what do you feel? The bahyam nandaram. You don't see anything outside or inside. Inside and outside all collapse. All categories collapse. At that time, you don't want to talk anything, see anything, nothing. You are so contained in that state of union. Upanishad uses that example. Just Upanishad. Priyaya, Shriya, Sambarishattaha, na Bhahyam, na Andaram, Kinchana Veda. Evameva, similarly, Ayam Purushaha, this state, Prajnena, Atmana, Sambarishattaha. You feel a deep embrace somewhere in the depth of your being. And then the Bhahyam Nandaram. There is no desire. There is no outside. There is no inside. All walls collapse. You become Atmakamaha. Your whole passion is for being there. No other desire. Atmakamaha. Aptakama, you feel all your desires are fulfilled. There's nothing more to do. Aptakama, akama. No more desires can torment you. Thereafter, desire becomes a tool in your hand to explore and express your potential. Desire is no more a prison chamber for you. Your whole lifestyle changes. And in that state, he says, Shogandaram, you go beyond the sorrows, miseries. Apahatapatma, you no more consider yourself a sinner. A person who is struggling to gain something, to give up something. All these goals. And there, Atra Pida Abhida Bhavati. There you are not a father. So far you played the role of a father. Now you are no more a father. Mada Amada Bhavati. So far you have been playing the role of a mother. You are not a... You can continue to play the role, but this is your real understanding. Na drishtu drishte viparilobhasti. And there, That state can never change. You're always there. While you are moving in this forest, going up and down, playing your role, you're centered. Your third eye is opened. You're centered. And therefore, Esha Asya Paramananda. This is the greatest state of joy. You have arrived. Namah Paramamshibhya. My salutations to all our rishis. So go through this Upanishad. It's a wonderful Upanishad. And get a book. Read this. I have given you the master key. I have given you where all you have to look and all that. So these Upanishads are wonderful Upanishads. And next Upanishad, so the 10 Upanishad, this is the last one. The major, it is called major Upanishad. And the other Upanishad is, the next Upanishad is called Shedashudara Upanishad. God playing hide and seek to amuse himself or herself. That is the word. That is the word. God playing hide and seek. He hides himself so that you and I can discover. Or you hide so that God can discover you. As somebody said, I searched for God and God discovered me. I searched for God and God discovered me. So there's a hide and seek between you and God. You hide, God finds you. God hide, you find him. Isn't this fun? That is called Devatma Shaktim Sugunair Nigodham, he says. God hides himself by his own power, his own mask. He creates a mask of mind. So that is the next Upanishad. That will be end of this series. And after the end of this series, I'll take a break for 1 week. And then I will come back to you with another 16 lectures. That will be the end of the lectures. The 16 lectures are 5 lectures on Dharma. What is Dharma? 5 lectures. Sanatana Dharma, Varnashama Dharma, Rajya Dharma, Abad Dharma, Sudharma. 5 dharmas. And 5 lectures on Brahman. Brahman. How do you prepare for enquiry into Brahman? And how do you enquire into Brahman? What are the methodologies? And what is this? And how are you related? All those things we will see 5 lectures on Brahman. And 5 lectures on karma. Karma means making a choice. To make a choice, you need some fundamental a priori understanding, assumptions. So those things I'll be discussing. The ontological choice that we make, the epistemological choice we make, the ethical choice we make, the aesthetic choices we make, and the ideological choices we make. That's how I present the karma. These choices determine who you are, how you lead your life. So that will be 16 talks with one introduction. So thank you very much listening to me carefully. This is a very interesting Upanishad. You can read and read and read, and the more you read, the more you enjoy it. Once again, thank you.